this leads into Colin Kaepernick, right? And since he's a representation of the NFL, I knew the moment he kneeled, you can ask Chris, the moment he kneeled, that was going to be the last team that he signed for. And I've said that
we said that from like episode 3. I remember that. Yeah.
And I don't think it's why I think it's when he did it. The way the rhetoric changed about it being about patriotism, you disrespecting our troops, now you stepping on our flag, you're this, you're that. The way they twisted the narrative, of course he was going to lose his job.
Oh, no, but
you know how people feel about the troops, or at least how they pretend to, but like how people feel about the troops and the flag and all this kind of stuff like that. They have zero tolerance.
So, you know this about me, right? I'm a 49er fan, right?
Okay.
All right. If you don't know, now you know. In the words of Biggie. Right. So, I was a fan of Colin Kaepernick. And so when everything going down, I saw it. I saw the way that I knew the way the system worked was never going to allow him to keep playing like that. But I wanted to know his psyche. What was his thinking, right? So they asked him, why are you sitting? He was actually sitting during the national anthem. So he had a phone call from different people, and they were saying, hey, you're sitting, you're disrespecting, you're taking the I guess the narrative of what you're wanting to say, and you're making it to the point where it's almost like unpatriotic, right? So he walked up and he literally sought out a veteran, and he asked him different ways, different methods of respecting, but not letting the message get misconstrued. Yeah. So his thing was always about police brutality since day one, right? He said it in his press conferences and everything. He never came out and said it was about the flag, right? Of course, they twist the narrative. So he goes to a veteran, and the veteran said, listen, as a show of respect, when somebody either passes away or in the military, or they want to give respect to their fellow man or soldiers, they take a knee, right? So that's why he took a knee, because he actively sought out a reason.
See, but this is to add context to that situation, he didn't actively seek out that man. After he sat down, because I saw this ESPN interview with that guy that did it specifically, this man, he actually wrote him a letter. And he had all this mail of people that were upset and all this kind of stuff like that. But he got this letter from this man, and this man was basically saying, like, this is how it made me feel. I feel offended. Da, 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 da.
So the soldier...
Then, the soldier said this. He sent him out of like thousands of whatever.
Right.
He read that. He was like, you know what? I want to talk to this guy. He sought him, that specific man, out.
Right. Okay.
And then brought him into the fold. Brought him to the games and all this kind of stuff like that. And they had this conversation where he basically said what you said. When people die, when we lose people and all this kind of stuff, a way of showing respect is we'll take a knee. And in that way, there is no disrespect being shown.
Exactly.
It's like, it's what you do. And that's when he went about that. But of course, all that gets lost in the narrative.
Nate
the
Boyer?
Rhetoric.
Nate Boyer.
Retired Army Green Beret.
But yeah,
Nate
all that.
Boyer.
This story, what he was really trying to say, the actual cause, the problem that brings this conversation today, it gets lost. It gets lost in the sauce. When you have these people trying to, the spin that stuff. Make it something else.
I'm sorry that I didn't listen to you, and you probably answered this already, but I want this to be on record. No, I really want your answer. And like I said, I'm sorry I didn't listen to you the first time. But the first thing that you said to me when you saw me again, it'd been a little bit of time when the COVID thing, we started reopening and stuff. So the George Floyd thing had kind of passed a little bit, gave us a chance to breathe, right? Yeah. So the first thing that you came to me, and we had the first conversation about it, you said, so what do you think? Does this not give Colin Kaepernick?
Does this validate him?
Does this not validate him completely?
Yeah.
And I don't remember what you said, but I remember like, yo, we blew up, like, hell yeah,
Yeah. I think it completely validates him. Completely validates him.
Yeah, no, I think that since he was so, I didn't think this before. Now that he's done this, right? maybe it's a little bit of martyrdom because he lost his career in the NFL. Maybe it's foresight. But now I'm looking at him in the same light as Muhammad Ali when he refused to go to the Vietnam War. I'm looking at him in the same light of somebody that was a part of the civil rights struggle in like Michael Smith and I think his name was John Carlos when they held the fist up during the national anthem when they were accepting their Olympic medals, excuse me. And it's so crazy how appropriate when we look back on it, like he was the only one that was right.
And this is a man who had everything to lose. Everything to lose. And in that moment, he stood up for us. Everything to lose.
Am I going too far to say that you look in those in that similar light?
No, he's definitely a leader. He stood up when he didn't have to. And that it almost brings more validation to his cause. He didn't have to. His life is good. He's a football player.
But see, I think he knew he wasn't gonna. I think he knew that as the stance that he was gonna take was going to affect his career no matter what.
Yeah.
So when it came down to he had just gotten his contract.
Yeah,
right?
I remember.
He had just got a new contract.
I remember.
Signed for like 40 mil guaranteed, right?
Everything to lose.
And then they asked him to take a pay cut. And he's like, hell no. Because he knew. And so, you know what? He said, give me my guarantee money and I'm out. He decided to walk away.
Yeah.
And he knew that, you know, he gave the NFL a couple tries. Seattle Seahawks. Now Pete Carroll's coming out, the coach of the Seattle Seahawks coming out saying that he regretted the situation of not signing Colin Kaepernick. That's kind of, to me, that's just rhetoric. But whatever, that's neither here nor there. But he actually gave the NFL a fair shot to get another contract. Yeah. But he kind of in the books he already knew in the back of his head. So whenever they had the tryouts, right? I'm a man, and I can admit when I'm wrong. I thought he blew off the tryouts. I thought he did a bad job, and I thought the fact that he even spoke about police brutality in the tryouts right afterwards, that was against his cause of getting a job in the NFL. But I think that what he really wanted to do was show the disingenuous nature what the NFL was trying to do as a show of face, as a show of like, let's try to get him signed. Like, he knew that was bullshit. And the NFL knew it was bullshit because of the way that they even if somebody did happen to sign him, he had to go through so many hoops and so many legal legislation that like he wasn't. They were the actual team saying that, well, you can't kneel or you're not gonna kneel, right? And that was like one of the questions. Like, bro, I just lost my job out of kneeling. You think I'm gonna just kneel for you because you know I'm worried about the paycheck? That's not what I knelt. I knelt in the first place. Kneeled, excuse me. But when I look at him now, and I go back and I'm looking at these figures throughout history and stuff like that, I equate him more and more every day to Muhammad Ali, and those civil rights leaders that are participants in sports. Yeah, you know. So
yeah, I look at him like definitely as a black leader for sure. He's one of the strong ones, and I also look at him like a martyr.